Hi, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sarah, and this is my labor and delivery story with my youngest daughter. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to my OB, because I truly believe that if it were not for her and her quick thinking and acting so fast, that my daughter would not be here. So thank you. If you see this, thank you. To start, we went to a regular checkup at 37 weeks and 3 days, and my OB did ultrasounds every single appointment. Every appointment, even if we didn't get printouts, she did an ultrasound. She wanted to check on baby and make sure baby was okay. So she's looking at this ultrasound very intensely, and it just seemed a little off to me that she was staring at it so much. She was just checking over things, and she kind of seemed concerned. She ends up looking at me and my husband and goes, "You guys want to have a baby today?" And we laughed. We literally laughed because we thought she was joking. She was not. We did, in fact, have a baby that day. So we get going. We end up leaving there, going home. Our bags were packed for the most part, other than like toothbrush, hairbrush, stuff like that. So we got all that stuff ready. We took Sutton, her stuff, and both dogs to my in-laws, and we went to the hospital. My parents ended up picking up Sutton from my in-laws' house. The in-laws kept the dogs while we were in the hospital. We get to the hospital a couple minutes before noon because we stopped for food because I was hungry. Get to the hospital a couple minutes before noon. By 12:05, I'm in a bed, ready to go. So the nurse was not super friendly. She didn't seem like she liked her job very much, to say the least. My OB gets there at 1 o'clock and she's like, "Hey, I noticed that you haven't started the induction process. What's going on?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just waiting on the nurse." So the nurse comes in there with a bit of an attitude and gets IV going, and we start Pitocin. About an hour later, OB comes back in, a little after 1 o'clock, I believe, and breaks my water. So from starting Pitocin to, I don't know, probably like 1:30, honestly, my water was broke and labor had been started. So I never knew how much fluid could come out of my body. There was so much. And I think the reason I think this is so weird is because with my first daughter, I mean, I remember it vaguely, but we didn't start all of this until really early in the morning. The following day, we started Pitocin and Cervidil, and the following day at like 5 a.m., I think, is when all, things started to progress, and my water was broken later, and I just slept. And it really did, I just don't remember this much amniotic fluid at all. So she breaks my water, and I tried to stick it out and not get the epidural this time. Screw it, I'm getting it. I was in a lot of pain and I was miserable, and I shout out to all you girls who don't get epidurals. I got one both times. Couldn't do it without it. I'm a wimp. So I got the epidural, and I don't know, like 2 hours later, it was 7 o'clock, and OB comes in to check, and she's like, "Hey, baby's coming." So team comes in, they get everything ready, and this part went so quickly that I don't really remember. I know I was pushing and things were going okay, and next thing I know, just like that, I've got nurses on top of me pushing on my stomach, and OB is in the bed with me, also pushing on my stomach and trying to get me to, push when the contractions came. And I was in a little bit of a panic. Like, I'm trying to just listen to the OB, not panic, but it was really, really hard because it was just a split second, things had changed. So OB ends up yanking Sloan out. Turns out she had been stuck for several minutes. And it was not looking great. OB turns around, and the nurse is supposed to clamp the umbilical cord was just in la la land, I guess. I don't know what was happening there. OB has Sloan not breathing in her arms, kicks the cart out of her way that they bring in with all of the delivery gear, we'll call it. Kicks it out of the way. It hits the wall and pushes our luggage up against the wall, and she just gives that nurse a look like, what are you doing? Get Sloan over to the panda warmer, and at this point, I'm still kind of in shock. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I don't know why she had to yank Sloan. I don't know why she kicked the cart. I don't know why these nurses were on top of me. I have no idea what's going on. So I'm shocked. I didn't know how else to feel because I didn't know what was going on. Well, Sloan is still not breathing. This part's really hard to talk about. Sloan is still not breathing, and she is blue and limp, and nothing is happening. There's no crying like there was with Sutton. There's tons of nurses coming in, panicking, and I still don't know what's going on. A nurse finally comes over to me and she says, hey, she was stuck for several minutes. She's not breathing, but they are doing what they can to get her to breathe. In that moment, my heart just dropped. I didn't know how to feel. So a couple of minutes go by. I hear the most faint little whimper, and my heart started beating again. I don't think I breathed the whole time that she was not breathing. They got her to breathe, got her oxygen. Her cord was clamped for quite some time, so shout out to delayed cord clamping. My husband is over there. He's trying to see what's going on, and they're trying to make room for him. Obviously, he knows that the nurses need to do what they have to do, the doctors have to do what they need to do. But he is, just trying to see, and they're trying to be really respectful of him and let him see this is his baby. I'm obviously trapped in a bed and can't see, but they are trying to be nice to him. Let him take a picture because I still hadn't even seen her. The nurse actually removed her O2 for just a second and let him snap a picture and put it back on, and he showed me, and the emotion that I felt in that moment was just so pure, and I don't know, it was crazy. Sloan finally starts breathing, and I don't even remember the time. I know it was at least an hour before I actually got to hold her, or nurse her even, because she really wasn't breathing on her own. The O2 is what was keeping her going, and this whole part of it, medically, I don't really understand. All I know is that it was terrifying and she was having trouble breathing still. NICU came in and they checked her over for quite some time. They monitored her, but they did not take her to NICU. So fast forward a little bit, I finally got to hold my baby. And that was I don't want to say that Sutton, having Sutton, my oldest daughter, didn't touch me as much as this did, but this was just so scary that I needed to hold her and just know that she was okay and tell her that I love her and that she's going to be okay. And it was just so scary. But I finally got to hold her, and I was just flooded with so many emotions, happiness and gratefulness for my OB, and my husband was a trooper. He tried really hard. I mean, I could tell that he was worried because he could see obviously what's going on. But that is Sloan's story. She is now over 7 months old and she's doing really well. And the whole story and just thinking about it really pulls at my heart because it was so scary. And I know that things like this happen all the time, and babies get through it, some babies don't, and just that thought is really scary, even still to this day, just thinking that I could have lost my daughter. But I am so grateful for the team of nurses and my OB and the NICU nurses and my husband for staying strong and being there, and literally holding my hand. And I'm really grateful to have my daughter. So that is our story.